Hello everyone, welcome back to the Kirklees Guitar School Podcast. I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. George Loveridge. How you doing, George?
I'm getting there. It's end of October. People are coming down with lurgy, and I think my immune system's clinging on for dear life.
You sound a bit croaky, so
You're okay, don't
stay
worry.
at that side of the set for me today.
How are you, though?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Has this week been a rock or a roll?
I'm going to say roll,
Right.
because I've broken the Christmas music seal.
Oh, no.
Yeah. See, I'm not the sort of person to
Sacked.
I'm not the sort of person to, get my pajamas, sit by the fire with a good film. But I like listening to Christmas music. I'm a muso. There's some good.
Right.
But we're getting the scratch band stuff ready.
Yes.
So we're having a live event outside of the podcast universe for the bands that we have here at the school, and we've sort of pressed shuffle on the students and put them in new bands just for a one-off. So I've been tabbing out some to be revealed later, Christmas songs for various players. So I've had to break the seal. I had a student say, "You're a bit keen." Like, yes, I know. But yeah, it's only a role because of that. But it is quite exciting getting band materials back together. So what about you?
Just before that, I have a rule in my practice, which is Halloween has to have passed before Christmas songs start in the lesson room. And there's one group in particular that are absolutely dying to do some Christmas stuff. The kids, they're all sort of aged between 8 and 10. And I'm like, nope.
What post did I see the other day? It said, "God, firework just went off. Dog scared the life out of the dog and he knocked the Christmas tree over." But yeah, you rocking or rolling though?
Yeah, this week's been a rock. Yeah, it's been good. So what have I been up to this week? I did a post on Facebook. I'm sort of systematically working my way through my guitars at the minute, adjusting them for the winter. So it just sort of occurred to me about 10 days ago that I've got this awesome guitar collection and they all play like absolute crap because the weather's changed. So sometimes, particularly with Gibson guitars, they're very, very, very temperamental and subject to sort of the weather and one thing or another. So they've all just had a few little tweaks on the truss rod, and all my guitars are playing great. And I've done lots of playing this week. One other thing that I'll mention is I went to somebody's wedding on Friday night. Now,
as a player,
that's not unusual. Yeah, I normally get asked to play in bands and things at people's weddings. One of the students of the school approached me 6 months ago who wanted to do a performance on her wedding day as a complete surprise for her husband, and that was on.
Oh, fantastic.
And yeah, so she couldn't play guitar beforehand.
6 months ago?
In 6 months, and I helped to sort of orchestrate it all on the day. They started the evening with her playing and singing a song, so it was really good. It felt really kind of proud teacher moment. I'll put some photos on the
check you out
on the front. So yeah, a lot of people come to me with really lofty goals like that, and I kind of go, "Are you sure?" Because that reflects really badly on us if we can't facilitate that, and it's such a subjective thing.
It's a big promise to make. It's dependent. I try not to set. People say, "Where should I be in a month's time?" I'm like, "Yeah, very good. See you later." Because you can't set, because then someone's going to be heartbroken.
How long's a piece of string?
Some people pick it up like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh my God, how have you done that so quickly?" And other people, it just doesn't click for a while.
Yeah. So last little bit of housekeeping before we get into today's show. Saturday, the 8th of November. We've just finished prepping our live show, haven't we? The podcast live. So we're doing a live podcast recording on Saturday, the 8th of November. If you head to the first link in the description, you can see you can book tickets for that. It's almost going to be like a double episode, isn't it?
It is. It's going to be a lot longer than this one, anyway.
And we're talking about capos, lead guitar, and we're taking some questions from the audience. No, but people need to know what they're in for. But it's going to be if you've been enjoying the episodes that we've done recently that have been really high value, this one's going to take it to another level. So head to the first link in the description and grab your tickets for that, because there's a handful left.
Yeah, grab your tickets. There's a cheap Premier Inn within 10 miles. You'll be absolutely fine. Come along.
And we're going to do like a bit of a meet and greet after. It's going to be great fun. So, shilling over, what's on the agenda for today, George?
What guitar solos should you learn as a beginner? Now, I say our audience is about 50-50 split in terms of beginner and intermediate. There's some people who can't even spell guitar, some people have been playing for a few years. But what guitar solos should you learn? 9 times out of 10, when people come and see us, they want to play Eruption. They want to play Still Got the Blues. Where do you start? So we're going neck deep, speaking about what a guitar solo is. Our technical focus includes techniques that you should expect to see or learn or practice when it comes to guitar solos. Tone Talk, we've got a couple of examples of solos that we're going to go into, what techniques they have in them and how to get about playing them. And I think they should be your first couple of solos to play.
Yeah, we've chosen 3 solos each, haven't we?
Yes, approximately. Yeah.
And the idea is how if somebody wants to get into soloing, what are some really good studies that are not too committal and are not going to take you 6 months to get your fingers under?
I'd
you know,
agree.
a lot of people that watch us online find us through learning Albatross or Still Got the Blues or, you know, these sort of Whiskey in the Jar, Sultans of Swing, all these really kind of iconic guitar parts. Mm-hmm. But for you to get to that level, you kind of need to practice something that's not... Like the solo of Hotel California is about 2.5 minutes in total.
And it's got 2 guitars in it.
And it's got 2 guitars in it. Well, rather than jumping in there, why don't you try something that's 8 bars long? It's got a couple of really tasty techniques in and get an easy kind of win in. Definitely. So that's kind of what we want to discuss today.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. So, James, what is a guitar solo?
Okay, so I think it's self-explanatory. A solo is you as the instrumentalist taking the lead and kind of showing off what you can do to the audience. Its function in a song's not only to kind of give the singer a little bit of a break and give the listener a break as well of a completely different section, but it gives you chance. We look at online guitar media and people talk about learn to play expressive guitar solos and learn to play with emotion and all these kind of like really over the top sort of explanations for how a guitar solo should sound. I use it as an opportunity in songs to sort of stretch my legs a little bit.
Definitely. Yeah.
You know, and be able to kind of play something that's really... I think a lot of people assume that any good guitar solo should be... When actually, a really good guitar solo, I think a hallmark of the guitar solo is this: can somebody sing it? Can you sing the melody? Now, start Hotel California.
Oh.
Can you sing a guitar solo? Mm-hmm. And it should, like, being melodic should be at the forefront. I know speed and stuff's cool. You watch Bonamassa doing all those sextuplet runs where he's playing like a Gatling gun. Great. But also, he knows how to make his guitar talk. But I think that's the focus.
That's the difference between improvisation and a solo. They do, in the Venn diagram, they do cross over because you can use improvisation for your solo. Mm-hmm. That's us being lazy, really. If we're on a gig, depending on how much you're getting paid, you've got 8 bars and you haven't learnt the real solo, you can play in D minor. But actually, is there a real melodic solo that's been composed and put in there?
Yeah, very good.
Two different things.
Okay, so how does learning solos improve your overall musicianship as a guitarist then?
It improves your single note picking. It improves your alternate picking. A lot of the time, it's been in the group a lot recently, playing alternate picks across different strings. Because solos don't just stay on one string. Some do, some don't. It's going to improve your timing. You can't get by with this vague down, down, up, down, up from last week. You've got to slot those notes in exactly where they need to be. That's how I think it's going to improve you. And you're picking stuff up and it's going to give you a bit of a confidence boost, I think, without getting too philosophical again. If you can pick up, say you do something to me like we started at the beginning, like, yeah, that sounds
it's a really
like
tasty
solo.
Little solo. And I've not had to, there's no kind of witchcraft involved in that. There's no sort of, there's just a couple of really kind of great hallmark techniques. And what I think another thing, just before we move on to as technical focus, is how when you play a good solo, you have to have the confidence. So it's like you're going to listen to me.
Yes,
I'm playing now. Listen to me, and I'm going to make this guitar talk because I've spent hours practicing it. And you're going to bloody listen.
Just wait. It's going to go wrong. Watch, just wait.
But I think, again, without getting too philosophical, it's a confidence thing more than anything else. You know, it's really big deal for people to... Because when you're that exposed, when you're playing with a band and there's nothing for you to play along to, you are the music. You can't hide from it. And sometimes you do it a wrong note and you've kind of just got to take it on the chin. Okay. Skills and techniques required then. What techniques make a good guitar solo?
Okay, so let me just take the blues scale. All right, hear me out. If I just run through it, just go to the first octave for now. Whoopie-doo. Let's add some techniques. Let's add some hammer-ons in there. By definition, you start on one note and you hammer on. You're going to pick and bash into another one. See episode 1. Of season 1, I think, for more information.
I think
it's that long ago, back in February. But if I go through that again, well, initially that's a lot spicier with one technique. Vibrato, the rapid shaking of a note. You're just drizzling a bit of salt and pepper over the top on everything.
Yeah, and that's been sort of school of sort of Gary Moore and those guys. Whenever I've got a spare minute,
Always vibrato.
I'm shaking it. You know, even in that, that out of all of the techniques that we could talk about, that seems the most mundane. And people go, "Oh yeah, vibrato, that's easy. You just give it a wobble."
But some people go, their hand is moving to the point where you think they're going to fall out of the chair, and the string's still going.
All the going.
Yeah, it's not a bend. You're not changing the pitch. But speaking of changing the pitches and adjusting yours while you do that, string bending. Now, this should be a podcast in itself.
Have we not done one of these yet?
Potentially, but
let us know
we've
in the
done-
comments if you'd like us to retread that ground, because bending's one of the. Sorry, I cut you off there.
No,
George.
you're fine.
Bending is one of the techniques that I feel like most people that come to see me do wrong. Not necessarily that they're not bending the string, but they just don't understand the
theory.
destination they're bending to. They just kind of chuck it up in the air and hope for the best. Whereas I think it's one of the most difficult ones to get the panache.
Panache, yes, it's because if I'm doing a full, we've got half, three-quarter, and full step bends. Full step bend is where you take this note and we're taking it a tone up 2 frets. So I'm going from D to E. So keep that note in your head. Can you see I've bent? And then vibrato at the top of the bend. Crazy concept. It's doing that. A lot of people learn, like say Angus Young, or Johnny Be Good. You hear players online go,
Yeah.
or overdoing it. And you're just going to refine all these techniques by learning solos. And in this day and age, we were talking about this off camera the other day. When we learnt, it's like, oh, James, can I play Still Got the Blues? No. Learn your chords first. Now, which I think is a really good thing to an extent, you can be on day 2 of learning guitar and think, I'm going to have a look at that there eruption on Ultimate Guitar or whatnot.
Yeah, and you could just kind of dip into it.
You can.
And it's not too. Whereas you're not spending £40 an hour of somebody's for somebody's time for them to sort of half show. The amount of people that have come to me who tried to learn guitar sort of 15, 20 years ago and now are sort of retired or semi-retired and coming back to it and say, my guitar teacher gave me All Right Now, or my guitar teacher gave me Boys Are Back in Town, or something like that. And they show this sort of scribbled A4 side of paper and they can't play an A, a D and a G, and I'm kind of like,
Just to expose you a little bit,
but you can play that, you know.
I get what your point. I get your point.
It has always kind of happened, that sort of putting the cart before the horse, so to speak. But I feel like it's a lot easier now, but also it's a lot more accessible. But that's the only, by doing those kind of lofty things, is the only way that us as guitar teachers get found on the internet. So it's a double-edged sword.
It's almost like lying on your CV. Don't run before you can walk. It's like saying, yeah, I can speak 3 languages. Hired. And then you end up in a conference and you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Random analogy number 57 or whatever. Yeah. So, yeah, you've got hammer-ons, bends, slides. Another
and these
one.
These are all tools in your toolbox. You know, if you're doing some DIY at home, you need the hammer, you need the spanner, you need the ratchet. You know, I think we get really kind of hell-bent on practicing the techniques, but then it's really easy to kind of go, oh yeah, okay, I can do hammer-ons now. Well, find a solo with hammer-ons in and be able to.
This all leads to your improvisation. Mm-hmm. You think, that AC/DC, that's got a bend and a double stop. I'm gonna steal that. That's mine now. And that's how it works. That's how we do it. So should we look at some tone talk then and examples of solos?
So yeah, I'll bat this to you first. We'll why don't we take one apiece? We'll just keep what is it?
Bit of tennis.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So you go first then. What's a fairly accessible solo in your eyes?
You mentioned Can You Hum the Melody? Ruby by the Kaiser Chiefs. That is the vocal melody from the bridge. Could it be that you don't really see? Up the road in Leeds. Let's have a look. In the right key. So that is almost one string riff, which is really good. There's some sliding in there. It's really nice. Alternate picking. Down, up, down, down, up, down. Really good. So I've got 2 techniques already. Slides, alternate picking. You can then bolt a bit of theory on, which is why I like teaching this to people, just experimenting with solos. We take that shape, we talk about movable shapes a lot. We pick that up and we're going to drop it on the B string on the 13th fret, which is an octave Same note, 8 notes apart, different pitch. Because the solo actually plays in unison in the record.
But a good guitar teacher would go, right, okay, well, it plays the same melody in 2 octaves, but we can play most things at least in 4 different places on the guitar. Yes. Try and find somewhere else.
Yeah, I've done that before, yeah.
There's a solo that you're going to cover on the crib sheet later on where it's kind of, the internet are a little bit unsure as to where the guitarist actually played it in which octave. And when we get there, we'll pickle that about. But I think it's not just learn the solo. I think a lost art of this stuff is learn it so that you can play it, but then analysis of the solo as well. What key are you in? What techniques are you using? Is it using chord tones and all that kind of stuff, which is something I'm brainstorming at the minute to do a series of lessons on. I think it'd be really valuable for a lot of people to kind of go, here's an solo, and I'm going to pick it apart and tell you how it works.
Yeah, I think you need to learn it first to the point where you can just recall it instantly without your tab, without your music. And then you say, right, well, actually, what's my starting out? Oh, all right, I'm starting on a C there, that sort of thing.
Another good one I like to teach is Come Together by the Beatles. Now, what I do when I teach this as a lesson, I'll put all of my examples over this side of the fence. I've taught YouTube lessons on. So if you want to go and learn that solo and get the tabs completely for free, head to the description and you'll see each of the lessons kind of plotted out. Okay. So what I've done with this, when I play this, we don't tend to have, when I play this in bands, we don't tend to have a keys player. So the keys tend to do the as like a bit of an organ, or is it an electric piano maybe?
So, I think it was Billy Preston on the.
And then you get the. So let me play it, and then I'll talk about why I like it. Yeah, okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. A lot of techniques going on in there, or are there?
No, not really. There's a lot of the same technique, but it's just being executed well, okay? Without sounding like too much of a numpty.
Yes.
But that's the thing, like, it's all... you've got a bit of alternate picking, because there's 2 very clear parts to this solo. There's the...
But that's John's vocal melody, isn't it?
And that's all alternate picking. And I'm down... I'm doing that. But also, it starts on the and. It starts a quaver late.
Yes.
So you're practicing your timing
beat, yes.
as well. That's why I like that, because you're not starting on beat 1, because you went 1, 2,
and you
3,
waited
4,
and that's where you start. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you get into the actual lead guitar part, and there's some really killer bends in there. We're bending this D note up to an E. This G up to an A, sorry, my mistake. Now...
That's day 1 of learning Come Together,
yeah,
isn't it?
But it's... And I'm tracking that, I'm listening to the note, and am I getting up there? And it's making your guitar sustain as well. It's bending a note and being able to... I know I'm using a little bit of drive. Muting is another massive part of it. Yes. So that's a really... somebody who's getting into bends, that's a really non-committal, useful piece of information I can share with somebody in a 30-minute guitar lesson that doesn't go on for weeks and weeks and weeks, but is really harmonically nutritious. It's got lots of great techniques.
I think that George was either on his SG that he had for the Hey Bulldog recordings, or he had a red Les Paul at the time as well in the Get Back sessions, or that could have even been his Rosewood Telecaster.
Is that the one that went to Clapton eventually?
Yes, there's a lot of muddy water with Clapton and Harrison at the end. It's like, here's something. Eric, can you play the solo on something? Yeah, sure, but I'm banging your wife in the background. Anyway, we'll
it's different kind of podcasters that I think. Is. Yeah. So, what's another one? You could
another one is 505 by Arctic Monkeys. Not really my bag, really, but it's got 690 million views on YouTube.
How many?
690 million. That's a lot.
That's ridiculous.
That's almost as many people as watch this podcast, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
This time next year, Rodders.
This one, I picked this one because it could be a single string riff. I've done a few articles on gearnews.com before about the best single string riffs. That's sort of beginner stuff where you can play a solo on one string. A lot of players who work stuff out by ear do that. They just chase the notes up and down. But 505 essentially uses the natural minor scale.
Okay.
It's also in D Dorian.
Right.
Class is going up because the chords are going from D minor to E minor, but it's based around C, so you get all sorts of weird theory gubbins.
Yeah, don't read too
But
much into
you can,
that right
but
now.
I've played that over the years without even thinking that, and it's until you analyse and go, oh yeah, actually.
But that's where the analysis comes in,
does,
rather than
yeah.
just going, oh, I've mastered that. It's kind of like, well, D
Why
minor
does
and
it
E
work?
minor are not diatonic. It shouldn't work like that. Given with the other notes that you're playing, I should say.
So as a single string riff, it's full of. This is how Alex Turner plays it, or his guitarist. Can't remember what his name is, but full of slides. It's that sort of thing. Whereas I could also. So you've seen me going up the neck and going from 12 down to 5, or rule number 1: guitar players are lazy. That's just working the way up the scale.
Yeah.
If in that sort of open box that I refer to it students as, whoa. That's a really nice one because, again, you can work on your alternate picking. And I like being able to play a solo in 2 ways because that repeats like 4 or 5 times.
Well, we're getting ready for a gig at the minute, aren't we, where there's some bits and it's kind of like we should be doing 2 different parts at the same time, really,
And we
to
will be.
sort of make the most out of having 2 guitarists on the gig. Most of my lessons are a single guitarist on the gig vibe. To actually have somebody else to play with is good fun, yeah.
And we're doing Hot Stuff Donna Summer.
Yes.
And which, if you're playing F up there, I'll be. And it just makes a bigger sound. You'll be in a different tuning for that one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're doing it in F.
So, yeah, I've got 505. That's my next example. If you don't know it, just have a listen. It's quite an easy one to pick up.
Which album's it on? Is it on one of the newer ones?
No, it's just after the whole rockabilly, Do I Want to Know stuff. It's Translucent Hotel or something like that. God
Some
knows
sort
what it's
of
called.
arty stuff, yeah.
Something from Barnsley, yes.
Something from Barnsley.
Well, that's where they're from, isn't it?
Sheffield.
Yeah. So, 505, where are you going next?
Well, let's play it for him. Let's play
Okay.
it for him. 1, 2, 3, 4.
See, I switched halfway through and played exactly the same thing. Mm-hmm. Power of octaves, really important.
Yeah, and I think as well is being able to hear it with some harmony underneath does
Yeah,
help.
fair dues.
So my next one's Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. Now, you don't think of Lindsey Buckingham as being a lead guitar player per se.
But, wow, could he do it?
What a guitar player.
I
What
watched a
guitar
group
player.
called Fleetwood Mac who play at the Home First Picture Dome every year.
Yeah.
And I know it's a tribute, but it's a Les Paul and he's finger picking it all.
Yeah.
And then just look at the chain. Like the
Yeah.
solo in the chain, that he's just screaming tone.
I know somebody that did a great lesson on that.
Dreams then.
Yeah, now, so we're... I'm using A minor pentatonic for this, which is cornerstone of most lead guitarists where they start.
Yes.
This... Why do I like this one? It's not too flash and it encourages you to make your notes kind of ring out a little bit more. Now, what I mean by that is, if I just put a bit of drive on... If I play it properly.
Do you know why I
that'll
like
go a
it as
bit-
well? Because it's not a rock song, it's a pop song.
Yeah.
Like, it's so vibey. But there is a really cool guitar solo in the middle of it that's really overlooked.
And really melodic as well, because
Yes.
it's nothing
There's
flash.
no bends, yeah.
No, there's nothing flash in it. It's just some really good, solid guitar playing. So let's hear what it sounds like.
With the right backing as well. Apologies for that one.
But can you hear how I'm sitting in that minor pentatonic box? And it's the way that the solo's laid out, and I did a lesson on this. I'll put a link in the description again for this one. But it encourages you to play with good technique because it all sits in that box and you need to try and hang on to those notes and sustain them for as long as you can. So that's why I like that one. That's kind of like a really, really early days one that I'd show to somebody that's really accessible, and it's 8 bars long.
Yeah, and the rest of the song, 3 chords. 2 chords for 90% of it.
And it's got the lovely...
Yeah. It's just nice, isn't it?
Oh, tell a lie. It's got 1 hammer on in it and 2 slides.
Oh, well, that's an advanced
Imagine
solo,
my
that one.
shock. So, it's that's another kind of relatively accessible one that I like to play. Have you got another one for us?
Hard Day's Night by the Beatles.
Right, okay.
Love this one. It's played on a 12-string. We spoke about this before, earlier in the season, when we were on the different set. You can get some economy picking in here, where you can, if you want, pick one of the notes and then finger pick the one underneath. Oh.
Yeah.
But I don't do it like that. But this is played on 12-string. So, again, it gives you the option to play it twice. You can play it in 1 octave or the 2nd octave. And because it's played twice in the record, you can test yourself. You can play it once in one shape and then in another one. So let me just play the full thing. Should we give it a go?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, sorry about that.
George.
Oh, but the thing with that is I nicked that line. I used to do it all the time because it's that kind of free all right, but in a slightly different position. I used to do it all the time. People must have got sick of me when I was like 15.
So you're in 2nd position, man, a pentatonic then?
So I've gone to A now, yeah. But it's a hammer. That line is a hammer on, and I'm alternate picking. So I'm hammer on, alternate pick. It's 3 notes. It sounds like a banjo in this sense, but over a rock backing, it's quite a cool. Yeah, I like that one.
I think Harrison, the Beatles were awesome. And even if people don't like to listen to the Beatles as just as a fan of music, I always encourage them to learn songs by the Beatles because excellent songwriting that just got better as the albums went on. And I know when they all started taking too many drugs and wearing funny coloured jackets and stuff, it got a bit weird for most people.
But they're like 21 when he wrote that. What?
Yeah, I was eating dirt.
What have I done? Yeah, what have I done? Yeah.
But I think George Harrison's the only guitar player who I regularly come back to and go, how is he doing that? Like, how did you come up with that with the the resources that you've got? Mm-hmm. It continually surprises me in any solo that I dissect of his because it's just not what I'd play at all. Mm-hmm. And that's not a criticism. That's actually it's really refreshing to sort of go, oh, here's another minor pentatonic lick. Whereas he'd really, I just think the way that he thought about his note choices in the lead guitar is completely different to the way that I do, and it yields completely different results.
You mentioned chord tones earlier, using the notes within chords within your solo, and I Love Her is a great example of that. Because there's a key change in the middle, which gives us a very spicy feel. Mm-hmm. And again, he was in his early 20s, and it's such a sophisticated flamenco style. He'd been on holiday to India, and he went, oh, I'm going to steal some of that. Yeah. And then he got a bit too weirdy-beardy for my liking, but hey, he's one of my icons. He's someone I really look up to as a player.
I'm going to. Somebody's asked us to do a lesson on something. I'm going to do a big sort of breakdown of.
That's a Clapton solo. That one.
Is it?
Yeah, Clapton took the solo for that one.
Of course he did.
Like we said earlier. Yeah. Give us another one. Give us one more.
Right. Okay. So we actually started the show with this one. Mm-hmm. But I think it's worth reiterating and why I like it. So we won't bother playing it again just to keep the podcast time down a little bit, but it's You Do Something To Me by Paul Weller. Mm-hmm. Now, when we were talking in the technical focus portion of what makes a good guitar solo and some hallmark techniques, this solo's got all of them. Mm-hmm. All of them. So let's just look at a couple of the bits. It starts with a bend on the 15th fret. You're bending it beforehand up to an E.
Is that what we call a pre-bend?
A pre-bend. And it's almost like you're letting air out of a balloon. Mm-hmm. We're there somewhere. There we are.
Vibrato.
Loads of vibrato. Double stops and hammer-ons. But you hear how I'm hitting that G note there. Mm. And then it goes. 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 And that's what makes a guitarist sing. When I think of like these awesome gospel singers and sort of, people like Aretha Franklin and all those guys, when they sing a note and they go, that's what I'm trying to do with my guitar.
It's what they call playing with feel, isn't it?
And it goes, so it's E minor pentatonic, vast majority of it. But it also goes up to what you've coined as the House of Blues.
Yep. Which is such an easy bolt on to your A box.
Yeah, and it also uses all of the sort of like hallmark great notes to bend. There's a lot of, it's a really nice sounding solo, but there's a lot of things you can steal in this solo as well, which is why I chose it.
This is why we do it. This is why we're teaching you all this. Learn a few solos so you can take these techniques and put it into your own playing. If you watch all the jams from the stuff episodes we do, they're mainly sort of Stevie Ray Vaughan and Angus Young, because that's who we like listening to. Mm-hmm. But that's why you do it. That's the point of all this. Well, you got double-edged sword. Yes, I can now play You Do Something To Me, and I've got one cool riff for my improv.
Yeah,
I think Ryan in the group said he was on a bit of a lull. Learn a couple of solos that aren't too taxing for your ability, and then take some of the techniques and think, oh, what's that going to sound like in B flat over a backing track?
but I think like easy-ish wins as well is really important, and it keeps like a couple of the groups that are studying with me at the minute. We're getting to the back half of the term now, and we're working on some pretty heavy stuff. And I just keep throwing songs in occasionally that are just kind of relatively easy strummers that they're still learning a bit of something. I like to give everybody something to learn when I give them something, and they're not just going through the motions.
Yes.
But you can tell in the sort of aura of the class, you can tell the whole vibe in the room. It's just lifted as if, oh yeah, we can play guitar. Because they come to see me to make them better, which means I need to crack the whip. But sometimes all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Do you know what it is? It's just a nice margarita pizza. Food analogy had to come in. It's right, you could have something very sophisticated and fancy that's going to cost you 70 quid, but you're still hungry on the way home.
Yeah.
Or do you spend a tenner on a good classic? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you could do all this sort of pentatonic stuff, modes, circle of fifths, where actually you could just sit and play Brown Eyed Girl.
Yeah. And that's what we do it all for, isn't it?
That's why we do it, yeah. You don't want to sit down in front of someone and go, look at this. And they're like, okay. But can you play something that's relatable?
But I think the rise of the bedroom guitarists kind of brought that on, hasn't it? So I feel like that's a fitting close to us podcast. So what did we talk about today, Josh?
We talked about guitar solos as a beginner, an intermediate player, or someone that's played for years that's always been too scared to play solos. Pick a few of your favourites or a couple of these examples. There's plenty of tabs on your website that you can have a look at. Yep. And just give them a go. See what's in them. While you're playing them, think, why can't I get that speed? Oh, it's because I'm not alternate picking. There's a cue for a technique. And. Steal. That's what it's Grand Theft Auto guitar playing. I think that's
guitar playing. So, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We'll catch you next week.
So this solo is actually the first guitar solo I ever learned.
Is it really?
It is. Yeah.
Talk about starting with an easy solo, but anyway.
Yeah.
See you next week, guys. Thank you so much.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you.